Here we go. Are we ready to go? All right. Mic check. Mic check. Good morning, everyone. My name is Matt Garvey. I'm the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl VP of Communications, and we're thrilled and honored to be here in State College this morning. Thanks for being here. We thought that the Zoom press announcement on Selection Sunday was a little impersonal, and it's been a long tradition of ours that we like to be on campus with our teams to do a more formal in-person invitation for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. So this morning we've got our President and CEO Gary Stokan, and of course Pat Kraft and Coach Franklin with us. And Gary will give you guys, given that this is your first appearance in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, which by the way we are thrilled to finally get the opportunity to host Penn State. Really looking forward to that. We think we've got an incredible matchup. And so Gary will give an overview of kind of who we are and what we're about, and then he'll offer the official letter of invitation to Pat, and then we'll have time for some comments and a little Q&A at the end. So with that, Gary, we'll kick it off to you.
Thanks, Matt. Welcome, everybody. We invite you to the capital of college football, Atlanta, Georgia, to come watch the 56th Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Let me introduce some people. We've got, you've met Matt Garvey, our VP of Communications. David Epps, our COO and VP of Marketing, is here. And where's Keith? Keith Hester from Chick-fil-A. Keith's in the back there. They're a great partner. Chick-fil-A is the all-time leading sponsor in college football history. This is now our 27th year with Chick-fil-A as a title sponsor, which is a record. So, Keith, thank you for your partnership. Let me thank Pat and James for their hospitality, and also we had a first-class visit with a team down in Atlanta. We've done a Zoom call. We've done an on-site meeting, so we're in the thick of things to move forward to put on the best bowl experience Penn State's ever had. Let me congratulate James. I go back to James in 2003 when he was OC at Maryland, and they came in to whip Tennessee's butt. I think it was 30-3, I think, if memory serves me right. So I'm surprised James doesn't remember which touchdowns were thrown and how many yards he had and everything else. But James was offensive coordinator. We had a chance to meet then and followed him throughout his career. He's done a tremendous job, and obviously done a tremendous job here at Penn State. 10-2, top 10, losing to only number 1 and number 7. And this is a game of firsts. This is the first ever meeting between Penn State and Ole Miss. This is the first time ever Penn State is in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. And this could be the first program in college football history to win all New Year's six bowl games with a victory by Penn State, which will go down as a record because this is the last year of the New Year's Six. We move to the 12-team playoff next year. I said when we first announced the teams that styles make great fights, and this is going to be an interesting top 20 scoring offense against the top defense in the country. I think there's 3 keys to the game. One is Ole Miss's hurry-up offense is going to be an interesting thing to watch against the great Penn State defense. Turnovers, both these teams are in the top 12 of turnover margin. They're very stingy in turning the ball over, but creating a lot of turnovers for themselves. So, and as James will tell you, any coach will tell you, turnover margins is huge in any game. And I think thirdly, when you look at, a top 10 quarterback, a top 10 running back in Ole Miss, and then first in total defense in Penn State, third in scoring defense, pass defense, it's really going to be an interesting game in that way. I think the third thing is really interesting. We're a noon game, which is 11 o'clock for Ole Miss, so you got to be ready to play. And Penn State's had that opportunity 7 times this year to play at noon. So it's a little bit different to play at noon, but Penn State's obviously done it successfully throughout the year. For the seniors, this could be the 20th time that Penn State would have 11-win season, which is remarkable, and the 5th in 8 years in James Franklin's time here at Penn State, which is an incredible record in itself. A little bit about the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. This is our 56th game. will be broadcast from Mercedes-Benz Stadium at noon on December 30th, Saturday. We're one of the most competitive bowl games in the country. 53% of our games have been decided by a touchdown or less. And I think that's because we've sold out 24 of the last 27. We expect a sellout for this game. Ticket sales are going really, really well. But the atmosphere that you get in Mercedes-Benz Stadium is phenomenal. I think it's the best stadium in the country. Sight lines are great. It's just a great fan experience. The concession prices are low, but it's just a wonderful place to play. And then per team, the payout, $4 million will go to the school, and $2 million also for team expenses, so a $6 million payout to both universities. A little bit about us as a bowl as well. We're the 9th oldest bowl game in the country. We were founded as the first bowl game to give back to charity, and that's in our DNA and a mission that's really important to us. We're the most charitable bowl organization in the country out of all 44 bowls. We've given $62 million to charity, which by far makes us number one out of all the bowl games. We're proud to announce that we will donate $50,000 to each school, to the presidents of the universities, in an endowed scholarship. Chick-fil-A will match that, so it'll be $100,000 endowed scholarship that'll go to both universities. That'll put us at about $9.4 million that we have in endowed scholarships through 35 universities throughout the country under our John Lewis Legacy of Courage Scholarship, which that money goes to Title I kids, underprivileged kids that, in a lot of cases, are the first kids in their families who are attending college and getting a college education. So we're humbly proud of that. Our Bowl Week experience, we look at this bowl as a reward for the players. At the end of the day, the players are the ones that, with winter workouts, spring workouts, summer camp, playing the games, this is what a lot of these kids dream about, playing in a New Year's Six bowl game, top 10 team. So we like to use a theme, live, laugh, and learn. We want the kids to live great, so they stay in a great hotel, travel great, get great gifts, eat great food like Chick-fil-A, laugh. We have a battle for Bowl Week. We have about a 40-pound WWE belt that every night, you know, if you know these kids, I call them kids, I'm 68 years old. These kids want to compete in everything, right? And so every night we have a competition that they battle for the Battle for Bowl Week belt, but they have to give it back the next day, and we have a battle the next day as well. So really cool because it keeps the kids' interest. Obviously, they've got practice, they get video and meetings, but this is a really interesting competition for the kids as well. And then learn. We take the kids to, and Coach Franklin will go to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, where these kids didn't get out of the hospital for Christmas and may never get out of the hospital. So to give, for the players to be able to give back time during the holiday season to those kids and their families is awfully strong. We donated $20 million to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta in 2019 to start finding cures and trials to eradicate childhood cancer. We now have 12 trials with 37 kids in them. Our leukemia drug has moved to its second phase, where they've tested in kids, in animals successfully, in adults successfully, and now they're going to test in kids 12 to 18. And I think Pittsburgh Children's Hospital is one of the hospitals they're using for those trials. So our goal is to try and get that to the goal line, to the end zone, to try and find a way to help a kid live another day, another month, another year, or another lifetime. So we're all about giving back and trying to eradicate childhood cancer. We also, the staff and administration of the teams will do a community give back. Again, part of our DNA to be the most charitable bowl organization. We'll take the kids to the College Football Hall of Fame, which we moved from South Bend to Atlanta. The Peach Bowl was the originator of that idea to move the College Football Hall of Fame. We put the first $5 million in and then substantially empowered that institution by giving another $8 million to sustain it and continue it. So the College Football Hall of Fame is something special. There's only one in the country. We want these kids to go through the College Football Hall of Fame and aspire. One of these kids from Penn State, we had LeVar Arrington last year down at the College Football Hall of Fame. One of these kids are going to get in the College Football Hall of Fame in 10, 15 years. We want them to aspire, to dream that dream. We also have an FCA breakfast that we'll put on for the kids. And then lastly, a trip to MLK, to Ebenezer Baptist Church, where Dr. King actually spoke from the pulpit and was the pastor there. So live, laugh, and learn is what we like to do for the players as a reward. And then lastly, I will tell you that the bowl season, which is comprised of the 44 bowl organizations, gave the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl the Bestie Award for the best student-athlete experience last year. So when we had Georgia-Ohio State in our semifinal game. So that tells you what is important to our staff, making sure these players get good Southern hospitality, the administration, fans. We treat everybody really well, and as well as the media. So we welcome you all to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. And with that, if I can, I'd like to provide, first off, to Pat and Coach Chick-fil-A sandwiches.
Thank you, Keith.
And then lastly, this is the invitation, the official invitation to Penn State to join us in the 56th Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Pat, I hope you'll accept.
I accept. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Keith, we'd like another Chick-fil-A open up in Happy Valley, please. Thank you, Gary. I want to thank David and Matt for coming. I want to thank everyone in Atlanta. Our teams have already been down there and working with your team. They've been great. Look, we're all excited. I think bowl games are really, really special. They give you a great opportunity not only to get more practices in, but it's a reward for the student athletes for how hard they work. And nowadays they work 12 months a year. And so we're really excited to be going to Atlanta. I think the fact that this will be we will close out the New Year's Six is pretty remarkable. The rose, the cotton, the peach, the sugar, the orange, and Fiesta, Penn State has played them in all. I think that tells you exactly what our program is about. And so we're very blessed to have this opportunity. I know James and the guys have been getting after it. But I appreciate you talking about all that the bowl does. And I don't think people really realize bowl games, everyone just says, oh, they're this, that, and the other, just a game to go play. A lot of and most of these bowl games are giving back to their communities and are doing really, really good things in their local markets. And I'm so glad that you explained kind of what you all are doing, which half that is new to me. But that's a really important part to these bowl games. And I think you all should be, congratulated on what you're doing, not only putting on a great experience. We hope you win the Bestie again. That would be nice. But also that piece, which I think is really, really important. But we're very excited. We know, you can tell the city of Atlanta that Penn State's coming to town, and you'll see it. But we're fired up to represent Happy Valley. It's going to be a great Big Ten SEC matchup. And, I think Keith and Lane will have their team ready to go, their fans ready to go. It's two great fan bases. We expect to sell out. We will do our part, as you all know. And we're just very honored and humbled. We also appreciated your excitement when they came across the wire, as we saw that on social media. We were just as excited. So thank you very much. We happily accept. We'll be ready to go. And as my kids who don't even, this is nothing to the peach in it, but they're very excited for the Chick-fil-A piece of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. So we'll get our fair share of Chick-fil-A done in a week.
Make sure you do that.
Thank you very much. James, you got anything?
So, Gary, we've known each other for a long time, and we're excited about this opportunity. You can see Gary is a class act. Known and respected him for a very long time. Just like Pat mentioned, I thought it was really cool that you went through in detail everything that the bowl does. Got a ton of respect for you. Chick-fil-A, Peach Bowl, this is going to be awesome. Keith, last time I was at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, I counted 837 Chick-fil-A sandwiches. As you know, they're everywhere. But that, we couldn't be more excited. I think it's going to be a great experience. We had a great practice yesterday. And I love that our guys are going to get a chance to see the College Football Hall of Fame. I think that's going to be a really important piece. And then obviously, be able to get involved and go over and visit Martin Luther King Museum and the church. There's just so many different experiences that are part of the educational experience for our student athletes as well, on top of playing a really good team like Ole Miss, and a coach that I got a ton of respect for in Lane. So I think it's going to be a great game, a great week, and we look forward to the opportunity and appreciate the invitation.
Thanks, James.
Thank you, Coach. We've got some time for some Q&A, so if you have any questions about the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, the matchup, the trip to Atlanta, any of that, go ahead with your questions.
Yes. Mark Brennan, Lions 247. James, Gary mentioned how well your defense has played all year. How are you going to handle your coordinator position, and why are you going to handle it the way you're going to handle it? Thank you.
Yeah, so obviously, tremendous opportunity, and we're very, very happy for Manny Diaz and his family. Did a great job for us. Has accepted the head coaching position at Duke. So we will handle it internally very similar to how we've handled it on offense for the last few games of the season. And obviously trying to also balance that, while also, interviewing and trying to decide what we're going to do, moving forward with our defensive coordinator position, whether it's an internal candidate or an external candidate. That we're working through that right now, but we'll handle it like we have, on offense the last few games of the season. And I'll get into more specifics as we get together again.
For Pat and James, Allie, Nittany Nation, when you play in a New Year's Six bowl game, how much impact does this have on an athletic department as a whole? Kind of the momentum we saw off the Rose Bowl and the way that can impact you for the next calendar year. When you think about the Peach Bowl and the opportunity in front of you, how much impact can this have for Penn State athletics?
Well, I mean, James could talk about recruiting and the football piece. I think it's huge. I mean, you all are embedded with our fans. That New Year's Six, and as you just mentioned, it's going away. We don't know what the playoff will look like. But this year in particular, going to the Peach Bowl, a place where we've never been, was really exciting. But I think it really puts you in the top 10 where you want to be, and you want to be one of those. You want to be a top 10 program, and so yeah, I think it gives you an opportunity to continue to showcase your brand at the highest level. I think you referenced the Rose Bowl. I thought that was a remarkable. I'll put my business hat on, advertisement for Penn State football, for Penn State, the university. When you play on that stage and you deliver like that, and what we expect here in Atlanta the same way, it just enhances everything that you're doing. I think it showcases the program in such a remarkable way, and you get to see our student athletes in the best position possible. And so, yeah, I mean, it just elevates everything. More eyes are on you, which is what we all want. So when you get a matchup like this and you get to play in the New Year's Six, it's a great opportunity, and so you feel very blessed to have that.
Yeah, it's unusual, right, in 2023 that you can say you're going to do something for the first time, specifically at a place like Penn State. So playing in a game that we've never played in, I think is special and unique. Playing an opponent that we've never played is special and unique. And then, I know at our banquet yesterday, being able to tell the team that we have a chance to do something that's never been done before in college football and will never happen again, I think that's a motivator and something that our guys will take great pride in. So, tremendous opportunity. Like Pat talked about, you're going to be on a national stage in a great stadium, a great venue. There's just a lot of reasons why this makes a ton of sense, and we're looking forward to the opportunity.
Seth Engel, Daily Collegian. Pat, James has always spoken highly of the alignment with the athletic department and the university. When there is a coaching search, what does that alignment look like firsthand, and how does that maybe develop over the course of the year?
Well, probably to James' chagrin, I played football, so I have a lot of thoughts, and none of them are relevant or worthy of a text message here or there. Look, I believe we got the best football coach in the country. I let all my coaches, I see a bunch of our head coaches up there. I let our coaches make decisions on assistant coaches. I think we got the best, coaching, head coaches. A lot of them I'm looking at in the country. They got to do their job, and that's what their job is. I'm here to support them. I'm here to do whatever I can. I can be a sounding board for them, but I'm here to just support in any way I can. And I know everyone thinks that's financially related. It's not. But I also want to make sure I challenge them to think big and think in a different way maybe than what was thought of in the past. But I would like to think that I'm a person that they can lean on to say, what do you think here? Because sometimes it's always better to have outside eyes looking at it. And so I think that's how it works. But we're partners, all of us, James, myself. I see Gambino. I see everybody up there. We're partners in this. And so that's kind of how it works. That's the way I believe it should work. But they make the decisions, and they do what's right for their program. They know their programs better than him. James knows his program better than anybody. I have a good feeling for what I see, but that's just a small part of it.
I will add, though, I think, and I speak for football, but I hope I can speak for a lot of the coaches on this. It does feel good where you got a guy like Pat that is right there with you every step of the way and kind of understands what's happening nationally in all of our sports and also locally. And I want to specifically thank Pat because before we hired him, I was a little worried. I think he had 5 penalties at Temple, sideline warnings.
Not true.
And had 5
It's not true.
penalties at Boston College. Right now, he's had none
Thank you.
at Penn State. Sometimes he's kind of like, I'm like, about to signal something in, and I can feel him like
'cause I love you.
breathing on my neck.
I almost hit you on
yeah,
running
yeah,
down
yeah.
for a celebration.
But I want to thank him and Vinny for keeping him under control. So,
This is a game of first, though.
yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't encourage it.
Why am I not on the list for DC? I'll take that. I'll put my bike shorts on, put the coaching
They don't know. They don't know what the bike shorts are. The bike shorts should have never.
No, thank
in the
you.
first place.
That's
I
right.
had bike shorts. I coached
There you
basketball
go.
at
You
North
know what I'm
Carolina
talking
State.
about.
I know what it's like.
That's right.
For you young people in the room, the bike shorts were a really unflattering
Yes.
pair of polyester tight.
They're all
shorts
Googling it now.
That zipped and had 2 buttons at the top. Very unflattering. But
My
for
dad
whatever
rocked
reason,
those, though,
yeah,
back in the day.
not good.
Yeah.
We can keep it to the bowl, there will be an opportunity.
Not bike shorts, KP? I mean, what?
Coach Brandon on Friday and Pat
Commercial for bike.
KP sees his
I love Nike,
off
by
the
the way.
tracks here.
the two of you are together, and that's giving me a lot of.
Hey Gary, Riley Holsinger from Nittany Nation. We saw the video of your reaction to Penn State playing in the Peach Bowl. Were you deep down rooting for Penn State to play in the game since you've never seen them in the game before?
I can say it now. Being from Pittsburgh, I think the world of Penn State. Grew up watching Penn State many, many years, and Coach Paterno. And matter of fact, Sue Paterno will be coming to the game. We manage the Dodd Trophy, which is the College Coach of the Year, the preeminent College Coach of the Year, and we invite, similar to the Heisman, the old Dodd coaches back. And Sue Paterno joined us last year with Barbara Dooley. Both her husbands had passed away, and so they're both coming back this year. So Sue will be at the game, which is special. Yeah, you can't root. I root for friends like James. I don't root for programs. I root for friends, because I've been in the business for 45 years, and you grow a lot of relationships, and you care about those people being successful, because coaching's a tough industry, tough way to make a living. But yeah, I can say it now, I was rooting for Penn State to be a part of our game for a lot of reasons. James, number one. Number two, Penn State's brand is tremendous. One of the best 5 experiences, and I've been all across the nation at every game you can imagine, was the whiteout that I guess it was a couple years ago against Michigan, was up here. One of the best 5 experiences I've ever had at a college football game. I love what Penn State does with its lettermen, and having them down on the field, having a special place for them. It's that family That's why Penn State's so successful. So, yeah, I was happy to see Penn State pop up. And again, you know, I've done this for 26 years now. This is my 26th game. I used to be responsible for picking the teams, and I'd have all the analytics and the data and everything else. Now, we don't have any say-so. I mean, we literally wait like you do and watch the TV screen and see who pops up, and that's who we have. So that perspective you had on that video was real. I mean, we were all excited to have Penn State pop up on the screen.
Thank you for saying that. Everyone thinks we get inside. I did not know until it popped up on the screen, right?
Yeah.
So none of us know.
I remember we joined the CFP in 2014, the first year, and so I called Bill Hancock Saturday night. I said, Bill, you're going to call me and let me know who we have. And Bill started laughing. He said, Gary, you'll find out when the rest of America finds out. So we watch the TV and find out what Christmas presents we have and who we get to host during the holidays.
Any other questions?
Coach, going into, the defensive coordinator search, as opposed to your offensive coordinator search, what level of comfort do you have given that the defense has been so good? And how can you lean on maybe the continuity going forward versus having to replace an entire scheme offensively?
Well, I think there's challenges. I think whenever you're going to make a decision in leadership, whether it's a head coaching position, whether it's an offensive position, defensive position, special teams, but even you guys have heard me talk about, I look at even my position coaches of being the head coach of their position. I mean, you think about football, it's unique, right? Some of my position coaches are coaching more players than other sports have on their entire team. So, whenever you're making decisions on leadership of a group of young people, it's very important. And obviously, what led to that also creates some challenges and issues. Some are positive. Some create some challenges and some adversity. There's no doubt about it. But obviously, this is an attractive position. Not just based on what Manny has done, but I've been fortunate. I've had 3 defensive coordinators in my time as a head coach over 13 years, and they've all had top 10 defenses consistently. And then you go back before that. Me and Terry were talking about this last night. Penn State has played really good defense for a long time, So between the school's history on that side of the ball, and then our short time, playing defense around here, this is an attractive job to a lot of coaches for all the reasons we just discussed.
Okay, time for one more question over here.
All right, thank you for all 3 of your times. I also have a question for James. James, Theo Johnson announced a couple days ago that declared for the draft but plans to participate in the Peach Bowl, and that is reminiscent of what we saw from your program leading up to the Rose Bowl last year, where several guys announced their intentions to move on but said, I got one more game to play with my teammates and with my coaches. What do you think that's reflective of this 2023 roster? And with Theo's decision, are you optimistic that this is kind of a tone-setting decision, maybe across the team right now here in December 2023?
Yeah, I think it's positive. I think Theo and his family know that we are going to do what's best for Theo and be supportive of that. But I also think there's a balance where you can do both. Finish with your teammates, finish what you started, finish the season, and do it the right way. I think it's more challenging than it's ever been before. These guys are hearing from people in every direction and being pulled in 1,000 different directions. I think it's harder than it's ever been. But Theo's a great example of a number of guys that we've had that have been in similar positions. And I think you guys know, we're going to work with these guys as well, and we've done that really since I've been here. I remember we had a specific plan for Saquon Barkley, who was going to be predicted as maybe the number 1 pick in the draft, ended up falling all the way to number 2. But there was conversations with Saquon and his family and about how we were going to manage the practices, how we were going to manage the game, and all those types of things. And I think what you'd like to do in a lot of ways is, I'm still a big believer, a game like this, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, and against this type of opponent, Ole Miss and what Lane is built there, these games are about creating value, for the student athletes. And I still believe that this game, for most of them, creates an opportunity, obviously for us to finish this thing as a family and as a team and represent Penn State one more time, but also to create more value for themselves. You go out and have a great Peach Bowl game in that type of venue, in that setting, against this type of opponent on national television. I think it can really help the student athlete and what they're trying to do for their future in the NFL as well. And that has to be factored into all of this.
All right, thank you, Coach. All right, at this time, that's going to wrap up the Q&A. We would ask